Here's my 92 Paseo. This is more of an upgrade video. Kind of started it earlier, but was like, you know what, I'll start it over. So basically go over, I'll throw up some pictures at some point to show you what it looked like beforehand. And get a gist, but I'm doing a bunch of stuff to it. It's kind of like a week project that I'm gonna have going on in. So these are original tires that I had. You can kind of see there a little better. In stock 185 60R14s, upgrading to 205 45 16s. Some nice rims, a little heavier than I wanted, but oh well. And just to go over the complete list here real quick, I am doing checking my rear brakes, doing a reverse light because that's stopped working, going over some brake lights, making sure my windshield wipers, they were rusted up for a bit, and I'm sanding them down, but doof, I'm ready for painting, all nice and shiny, sanded down, ready to go. And doing front brakes. Got new drilled slotted brakes for the front, new pads. Going to clean up the headlights, do some door paint, I'll show you that in a second. Lower the seats because I'm 6'4", 6'5", and my head hits the roof, so gotta fix that. And I got new radio, subs, and speakers. I got an oil pressure gauge, intake radiator, struts, and I got some lug nuts and stuff that I have to install. Some what should we call it, where they are, these things right here, in my box of goodies right here, so like these, the wheel studs that you have in your car hold on your beautiful rims. So I need to get longer ones because I only get like 3/8 of an inch of a bite on the new rims. So I got that, got some torque wrenches, got some spray paint, I got, some mad stickers, you already know, some camber bolts for my struts and everything, shocks, sub, lug nuts, lowering springs, and a bunch of other stuff. New radiators. It's a Honda radiator, not supposed to go, but we're gonna fab it, make it fit. You already know, sexy as God knows what. There's the old radiator. And here's the door panel I was talking about. I'm going to sand this down, paint this up, clean this up. This is all rusted and whatever. Just trying to make sure that it's all clean, and I just don't want to have to do more body work down the road when I actually paint it, because it looks like crap now, and I just don't want more work down the road. And took out the rear seats and everything, taking out the window tint. It's an ammonia water mix with some paper towels. Got that going. Getting it ready for the rear speakers as well. Got an amp already installed down underneath that seat. Got this stuff ready. I got to get the vacuum tomorrow and vacuum this thing out, clean it out a bit. I think that's pretty much for the inside, because there's more to come later on that. Back to where we were. As far as the engine bay goes, I already took out the radiator, obviously, drained the fluid, found the oil pressure sensor. I got to find a nut to fit that and the fitting so I can have that and the oil pressure gauge all hooked up together. I got a new air intake. This old one, when I got this thing 3 years ago, this was cracked. It was duct taped. I got some silicone. I just recently broke this from pulling stuff out, but that's fine because I'm about to replace it. And I pulled out the headlights, as you saw probably. About to sand those down and work on that stuff. That'll probably be tomorrow. Come on now, I was putting the light away. So here are the headlights. This is what they look like. I had previously sanded them down before, and clear coated them, but the clear coat started to yellow. So don't get the spray paint clear coat. I'm going to use automotive clear coat and see how that does. But as you can see, they're really yellow. They're like faded and everything. So I'm going to sand them down again really good. You can see the top, right, and then that. I just can't see at night can't see for heck. What's ironic though is that the side blinkers are totally nice and clear. They're like brand new. It's amazing. So got those that I'm not going to touch, and all that. And then so that's pretty much the gist. I'm gonna sand this down. I don't know what the next update will be or what it will be, but this is just an overall gist as far as what's going on. Probably gonna do some stuff tonight, finish looking at the brakes, sanding that stuff down. I have a front bearing assembly to do on the other side. I already did it on this side of the car, and then I throw, those actually aren't the tires I have for the rim. Those are how I got them. I got those rims for $80, which was awesome. But I just got the new ones in yet tonight, and then I'll throw them on tomorrow. Throw them on the car, see how it fits, and see how I'm going to drop the car off these blocks, and then see how it sits. And as long as I got another inch, 2 inches, I'm going to throw on my lowering springs. It's only if I have like 2 inches. If I have like 2 inches of clearance, and I'm pretty sure I will, and because I don't want big rims, and then, you know, the car's got that fender gap and everything else, so trying to lower the center of gravity. I like to go autocrossing and stuff, and I'm a beach dude. Engine, I haven't done much to this or headlights or anything actually, but I started mocking stuff up for the new radiator. I'm not going to show that now, but I'll show that to you later. But I got some of that stuff on. I finally got new tires and threw them on the new rims. Looks pretty mint, but I am going to lower the car. So I'm going to measure it up, make sure everything's going to fit fine, but the drop should be 1.5 inches, which would be perfect. This thing should look hella good. Stop light away. So I'll get some more videos, some other stuff I'm doing later on down the road, but it was a pretty boring day yesterday, and I'm going to be doing a lot today though. So finally got the new tires and rims on. These are, by the way, what I was explaining to you yesterday. Let me get the light again. These are the 205, where is it? These are the Nitto Neogen right here. 205, 45, 16s, and they're Nitto Neogens. I'm probably gonna get some white marker and fill that in, that white Nitto part in. But these things are super nice. I am about to, I just had to lower the car, make sure everything was fitting good, and I may start it up and turn it, make sure everything's checking out good as far as steering radius wise and everything before I lower it. So I got that going on the side. Okay, really there's not much light, but you get the idea. And then you look at my rear windshield. I got all this inside. What I did is, I'm sure I don't hit the wood. Alright, cool. Is I took out the entire interior. I don't have a flash on my camera that I can use right off the bat. So I'm gonna keep going to this, and there's not enough lighting in here. But so come on, there it is. So I took out the seat, as you can see, and then took out the rear seats. I don't know if I showed this yesterday as well, but I pasted it up, and I keep spraying that with that ammonia water mix right there, and that's just paper towels plastered to the back. It's been on for almost a day now, come on now. It's looking really good, honestly. So like right here, you can start seeing the whatchamacallit right here. All this stuff, that's the tint slowly peeling off and peeling away. And I'm gonna wait for a whole nother day probably until I just kind of peel this away, and it should just come right off nice and easily. Is what I'm hoping for, because I live in Florida and that stuff's baked on. So I'll get back to you with another update as far as the suspension goes. But tonight all I'll be doing is I got all these shocks and stuff, and the new shock stuff down there. They're the lowering springs. Gonna piece all that together, some new booties, protect my new shocks, throw all those on. I got new hardware, hub, so I got bearing seals, new hub, and bearings for the driver's, for the passenger side, because I already did the driver's side. The previous owner didn't tighten up these these axle nuts at all. They were finger loose, so the bearings prematurely wore out, so I need to replace them all. And then I will get back on some other stuff after that, or at some point showing the processes hopefully go along. So so I just started, well, like an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, I started putting in the new studs. I got these new studs. They're 45 millimeters long instead of the stock, which is like 37. No, these are like 55. No, I think they're 45. Oh no, they're like 50. No, they're 55. They're like 55 millimeters long. And the stock ones are 37. I just wanted the extra bite because I only had about 8 threads, 3/8 of an inch of bite on my lug nuts with the existing studs, so I'm switching them out. Here are the old ones, and if I can, like that, boom, there's a new one. So getting that extra bite, and kind of throwing in the drum and the vise here, and using a puller. Takes 2 seconds, honestly. It doesn't take that long, but getting them in, using the the impact gun, and a nut and a socket, a lug nut that fits over the this just fits over the lug nut like that. And maybe I'll show this later, but just have that go into the drum. Well, it'd be this side, obviously, so you have the drum here, and then the nut, and then you put the lug nut on this side, and crank it down, and this pulls right through. It's pretty mint. So, got that going, and I'm going to do the other side, just finish putting this side together, and then I'll get started on the rear struts here, and replace those. Alright, and here's the setup I have going for my pulling out these studs. So I got this puller right here, this bearing press and pull. And I was just pushing on the lug nut that's mostly threaded onto the stud, and then the back side is braced up against this bar against the back of the drum, and it's all held in the vise. The most secure and nice way I found I could get it to stay nice and straight and level and secure. So that's pretty much what I've got going on here, and then it's really pretty simple pressing these out, and I'll show you right now. Alright, safety first. Boom, and that's it. Now the lug nut's pressed up against it, and I do that on purpose so that I can take all this off. Boom, bada bing. Now the lug nut's still on. Sometimes it's kind of loose, so it's not. Just spin this off. On the rear tint situation is that all these lines right here, where's the light? All these like lines going, woo, alright. All those lines right there, that's from the tint peeling off. So now we got a bit more going on. You can see those 3 big ones, and hopefully it really starts to sag. But you can start seeing some small bubbles develop around the defroster lines, and that I'll probably be taking that off tomorrow. That should be really nice and easy to just peel off. The knee strut. Yeah, let's go. Alright, and then the old shit. Sick. A quick update. I get my struts in here. This still works. I get my fancy drop light, my fancy doggo. Hello, Maggie. Pretty pup. And then I don't know why my light's not working. But anyway, new struts in. Got new shocks, lowering spring. Should drop the car 1.5 inches. Got the rear done, both sides of that, and the studs. It's been 2 days almost. The other night, I stood up all night finishing getting the struts in. I didn't get them in on this side. I just haven't installed them. Doing some stuff over here. Got to do the inboard seal over there. Got the new struts out over here, one in there, all compressed together. Took a while. Got the radiator installed. Got this mount and the lower mount going in there. Can't really see that, but this is the Honda racing mount. So later on, when I throw in a turbo, this is already taken care of. Plus, I'll still get some heat flow and cooling the exhaust and everything. Who knows how much that does, but you know, hopefully a little better airflow. And got that done. Started sanding the headlights a little bit. Got a whole new bearing set over here going on. Just also pulled this stuff apart. We're actually going to go for a trip up north, so I won't be hitting this for another week. But when I get back, I got this side to do. Got to press out those studs and replace the whole hub assembly in there, because I already have the kit for it. And then this side, I got a new. Where is it? I got a new brake caliper in here because the old one's been hanging up, and that's pretty much it. I just got to throw the new air intake located, and I was able to loosen up that oil pressure sensor. So I'll run the tack gauge through it, and then also what I'm working on right now before I pack things up and get ready to get going here is the tint. Real quick on here. Also, because I live in Florida, this car's been in Florida its whole life. It's a 92, 25 years. This tint just comes off in pieces, really. But I've let it soak for 3 days, so it really helped to come off. And you know what? It's starting to really just look at this coming off in nice segments towards the bottom. So until that kind of shit happens. But you know what? It's all good. I'll take what I can get. Working on the headlights right now. So as you can see, I kind of already started on this one right here. So what I started with is hitting it with a good old DA right here. I was working on 220 for a bit, and then after about half an hour or so, because my headlights were really yellow and cracked and everything, just nasty. Just making sure I'm getting around all the little nipples and stuff around here, because you know, from the molds from manufacturing, I'm assuming. But working around those and everything, making sure not to miss anything. And then I got up to 400. And I just finished with 400 and wiped it down with water. And it's looking a lot better. You don't see the haze and everything. The yellowing haze in the middle, which I was seeing with the 220 after the first pass. That's why I did the second pass, and it took a while. But you could just see the difference between that and that on the original headlight. And then probably tonight or tomorrow I will clear coat it, and then it should look even better than this. It should and I'm going to use automotive clear coat, because I had done these a while ago when I first got the car, but this is all like a spray paint clear coat, and it's yellow and everything. And I was redoing it because it looks like crap and I can't see at night. So hopefully this is what they're going to look like, if not better than this. It's nice mirror finish going on here compared to that. So that's that. Alright, so today hopefully we're going to be putting the rest of the thing pretty much back together suspension wise, lowering it. I got new studs for it. So the front left, I'm working on the front right now. I got a whole new hub assembly. All this, but pressing the new studs that I got. Turns out these aftermarket new hub bearings assembly didn't come with the correct studs, so I had to get new ones. It was a knurled diameter right here, right there. And so the original knurled diameter is like 14.2, I believe, 14.22. The new one is 12.8. So whatever. Got that, and so I just cleaned out this hub. I just pressed out the bearing and everything in here. That's what it looks like. That's what it's looking like. About to throw in the new bearing right here, and I got new. What you call it? This is from the last one. It's gonna help me press it in. So I got the new. Here's a new. What you call it? Freaking gasket. New seals. 2 new seals. A new bearing, which I'm about to throw in, and just to show, this is what the old one looked like. Come on there, buddy. Focus. There we go. So I don't know if you can tell. I can, unfortunately, I don't have two hands really for this, but it's super dirty. Come on, there we go. All this black stuff and everything. Also, the lock nut, the nut for the axle nut, Jesus, wasn't completely tightened, and so these were wobbling around for a while. And that's the big reason why I'm replacing these, is because they were making noise and stuff for walking inside of the hub bearing in there. So these are all just nasty. And the other hub bearing race is like welded on here. So here's one, right? And they sit on here like that. You got the bearings in between, and then that one came off, but this one just stayed on. It's like welded on there. And the clearance on this, and that's what was making the noise, is this right here walking, and you can't really tell, but there's, I don't know if you can see that, that's playing there, so that's what's making all the noise. And it shouldn't be doing that. It should be one full bearing like this. Let's put this up real quick. Like this sexy thing right here. So it should look just like this, like one nice full bearing. But it's separated and got welded to the hub. So that's what's going on here. So anyway, I'm gonna press in the this new bearing right here. Press that in, put those in as soon as I have all this side together. Let's see if I can come over here real quick. I'll throw this side back together. I don't have my drop light, but anyway, I got that whole side. I'll throw it together and throw in the struts and everything, and then I'll put tires on this side and lower it. That's how it'll be completely done. All I'm going to do is this side then is throw the strut in, replace those studs, which I don't think is going to be that big of a deal. I got to press that hub out real quick. Hopefully that won't take too long. And I got to redo the inboard, whatchamacallit, CV axle seal, because it's leaking MTF down there, and I don't want to be leaking all that around. So and that's also the method of having the other side, method of thinking of having the other side down first. So the fluid will go to the other side, won't have a tendency to drip out this side when I pull out the CV shaft and lose a bunch of freaking fluid. So I'll have that done, and I got to replace this brake caliper because it keeps hanging up, and I'll get back to you at some point during that side probably. About to looking like I'm gonna try and run the hosing for the oil pressure gauge, and that runs right over here. Boom, boom. I'm gonna run that with a wiring harness over here. Run that through the firewall in the back, see how long that is, see if that fits. Got the intake installed, sexy. I need to get a new upper radiator hose. This clamp right here is keeping it from kinking, so I need to get a new one of these because that's not how it should be. But I finished the upper radiator, nice and solid. Started putting fluid in, and I had already sanded down the headlights you guys saw. I'm about to spray paint those tomorrow, and then this drop light. You go over here, and I don't know what I'm doing there. So we got the new radio installed here. I shouldn't say installed, but I got it all wired up, just checked to make sure it works. Everything's all good. So I got all that shit laying around, but got a new sub in. There's already an amp down here, right there. This car came with a radio and an amp, and I just rewired a radio. They're honestly super simple wires. Colored wires go with different colored wires. Look at the manuals and put them together. It took me like half an hour, not even. And then we're gonna try to do some cleanup over here. The previous owners is kind of like left in a mess. I'm gonna do some cleanup, and then so I got the wired sound is going to all 4 speakers, and then the amp. There's a sub outlet back here. That's what this RCE set is here. So it's a sub outlet that goes to the amp underneath the seat, and then that goes straight to the 10-inch sub back there. And I got in the new speakers installed in the rear, so I got new speakers, new sub. The front ones are the same, they're fine, but those are the old ones. They're fine, but the bass started kicking them because they were just hooked up to the amp from the other owner, and I didn't pay attention to them, and I think I kind of blew them, so that's fine. Got new ones, and so I'm about to clean up this whole mess, see if I get the oil pressure gauge set up here. If I can't, it's no big deal. I'll do it later. I'm running out of time here. And I got, close this, and then I got the new rotors and everything on. All this stuff on. I got new brake caliper, all the axle nut tightened down and everything. So literally all I need is the new lug nuts to come in because I messed up. And when I counted for measurements, the front's fine. The front lug nuts fit fine and everything because these are really long lug studs because the rims are kind of big. The holes, the back spacing is kind of large, but the rear, I thought there was a hub behind this drum, and there's not. The studs go right in the drum, and I did not put that in, so the studs bottom out on these lugs before it holds the rim on, which obviously isn't good. So I ordered up open-ended, and I was just like, screw it. Sexy new shock strut, and so as soon as that comes in, another day or two, I'll have that done. And so I'm going to clean up everything here, oil, pressure, gauge, finish the radio, put in the seat, and then I'll start sanding this down right here, this whole trim, and so that I can spray paint that tomorrow along with everything else. I'll paint it tonight, and I got the windshield wipers upstairs finished in black. So I'll clear those, and that should be pretty much it. The rest is like a cleanup and return whatever I don't need or whatever I use. The compression kit, the coil spring kit, got it from Advance, $70, and you return it, you get your money back. So it's a good little return program. And so other than that, I think that's pretty much it. And I'll come back with another update. And I already showed you guys this is what the no tint looks like. It looks amazing compared to the previous. It's all purple and super blech. It just, you can't see shit through it. So today's Friday. Sunday I'll have her on her wheels and a good wash and keep you show you guys from there. Oh, and I got another, gonna put on some decals in the back here. But yeah. Mad. I just came across an issue and I thought I'd mention this. Thought this was pretty cool. So in feeding this oil tube right here, obviously this clear thing right here. So that red wire is the wire to the amp from the battery already. So that grommet into the firewall was already kind of open. So what I did is I fed this green wire through, and it was too narrow of an opening to tie it to this. So if you run into that issue, what I did is I stuck fish line down there, and I think it's like 6-pound test or something. It's really thin red wire, some nice fishing wire. I just shoved it down about 2/3 of the way, and since it's coiled, it wants to, you know, grab the inside of the tube. So I literally, look at that. It doesn't want to come out, the fishing line. So I have to straighten it back out to pull it out because it was originally kind of in a coil. So I was able to use the green line, tie the fishing line to the green line, and pull it through. So basically letting the tube come right through based on, you know, the direction that the tube's going to come through is going to follow this line straight in instead of at an angle tied to the green line. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just thought I'd mention that. So if you have that issue, fishing line definitely worked. So yeah, that's then again that's going right down here, and I got that lined up. And we'll see if it's long enough and see if it fits where I want to put the oil pressure sensor and see how it goes.